I'm happy to share my own personal experiences, and maybe it'll resonate with some and maybe it won't for others. And either way is fine. But I'd love to be able to share it. And so we talked a little bit, it's kind of started a little bit within the company and talking a little bit about that journey that I personally have been on, and that created curiosity from some, but not all, and which is totally normal and all good. And then I, through a series of events, I ended up writing a book kind of about my journey, and it's called Do Nothing, the Most Rewarding Leadership Challenge You'll Ever Take. Part of the journey was that I started going on silent retreats and ultimately started going twice per year for 7 to 10 days at a time. And people, especially peers of mine in the business community, got really curious about that. Like, what are you doing? Like, going on these retreats all the time? You just sit around and you don't talk? That's crazy, And I kind of laugh and I see where they're coming from, and I just answer any questions about, like, maybe debunking some of the thoughts that they might have about how hard it is, or how could you be away and be off the grid, and all I could do was share the benefits that I was seeing in my own life, and somebody encouraged me to share that in a book, which is what I ultimately did. And as it relates to those experiences, what I noticed, and I'll relate this a little bit back to athletics. When you, let's say you're a basketball player and you're in the gym late into the evening and you're shooting 3-pointers, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. There's a point where those athletes that are doing that, where they shoot it up and they don't even really need to look. They know whether it went in or not. They just know. It's a feeling. They feel it. And when you are able to practice meditation to a point where you start to understand the feeling, then it's so much easier to incorporate it in life. Just like when the players in the game, and they've done it so many times and they're in flow, they shoot it up and they know they're hitting it. They know the feeling. And that's one of the things I write about, is that especially on these retreats, there's a transition that takes place. At the beginning, your mind is super, super busy. And this is anyone I've talked to on the retreats, this is what they go through. At the beginning, your mind is very, very busy. Some people are trying to find calm because they're away from craziness, and that's kind of why they went. Other people are dealing with life traumatic experiences, and it's just all coming at them at once. And all of a sudden, around 3 days into, say, a 7 or 10-day retreat, it starts to slow down. And calm starts to ensue. And all of a sudden, for the first time, literally since you've been born, you understand the feeling of true calm, of peace. And you're like, oh, that's what it feels like. And if you're there for 7 days, you have a couple days of that. And it's really beautiful because you start to see things more vividly, both in your mind's eye and out your sensations. You taste things differently. Everything takes on this new quality. And then you start to, for many, actually a majority of the people, they start to actually not want to give that up. They start to get attached to it because they know the 7 days is actually, like, it's because now there's a period of time where at the retreat, they're taking you out of it. And it's like, oh, I don't want to, but I do kind of want to go back to my life and, experience it with all this vividness. Mm-hmm. And that's what ultimately ends up happening, is you slowly kind of come out of this back into the, assimilating yourself back into the real world, so to speak, getting ready to go back into your life. But you felt it and you know what it feels like. So when you start to get caught up in the dramas, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it, the stuff that's really going on in our lives, you're better capable to pause and really bring things into perspective, because you remember what it felt like on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at the retreat to just have calm. And you can tap into that when there's a lot of stuff around you. You can actually use that skill. It's possible. And so that was one of the reasons I felt it was important for me to do this a couple of times a year. I needed that. I needed to bring myself to that feeling. And then just on a daily basis with my regular practice, trying to just bring that in and remember that feeling.